Okay, alright, you know what? We're gonna start this. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. Alright, sorry about that, anyone who's tuning in later. Hopefully I'll get a chance. I'm doing a bunch of technical tests I should have done before I started this broadcast. But anyway, hey everybody, this is Heracles Porsche here, also known as Gildenlock, and I am looking at the flame tank today. I had a request come in, and we're gonna look at the unit now. Um, obviously, so the main units I think of when I think of the flame tank is, well, the flamethrower. It does the same thing. If you have any experience in Battle Islands Commanders by now, I'm sure you've used the flamethrower. It's a unit that I wouldn't say it does AoE, but it can damage a good number of infantry at a time, and then it dies and does even more. And does do a kind of leaves behind an AoE damage thing. This is a flame tank. It attacks in the same manner. It shoots out a flamethrower and then it explodes when it dies, but it costs double. And it is an armored unit, but it does not do armored damage like, say, the uh, the tank destroyer. So those are two units the units you compare it to. So um and yeah, it's probably the least used unit in Battle Islands Commanders. A, because nobody can get a hold of it until they're done with East Asia, and B, they it is just kind of generally considered a weaker unit. But the question we have to ask today is, does it deserve to be? So, and the appearance of it is a bit misleading. We're gonna take you to the demo now. As you can see, it looks like a unit that's going to, I don't know how to put it. Um, it looks like it has a tank, like it's a regular tank that has a flamethrower in the front, but all its attacks are purely flamethrower. So, just for reference, this guy's tossing out. All right, so here we go with the flame tank. It will be done. Probably shouldn't have put it that far back because it's gonna be taken. Oh, okay. So here's a demo. Obviously, the AI is not very smart about how its replacement. Thank you so much for knocking over my camera, kitty. Alright. That was the cat knocking over my camera. I can't get mad at her right now because she just got back home from the vets, which I meant to talk about in a different video. But anyway.
Allons-y. Let's go. En avant.
Alright, good. We've got someone tuning in. So,
Artillery setting up.
I would have liked to have pit this against some training units. Actually, I'm just gonna see if I can.
Target acquired.
Okay, so let's get. It's not much, but here's some dogs. And we'll get a little chance to see kind of the. Keep in mind, this is a level 1 flame tank, and
Let's go.
yeah. Alright, so let's finally get matched up against the infantry here. Now these are distracted infantry, but I took those out relatively quickly. Here we have some more. So that's a little. So it's not super AOE. It's not like super AOE thing. It's not gonna, you know, it's not as good at clearing out groups as say, you know, the mortar.
En avant.
Um,
Vol de France. Kämpf dich, Schweinhunde. Open fire. The flames will burn.
so that last flame tank hit the hit an tank mine, and that was what took that out. And you can see the whatever the flame effect took note. So I'm about to take a huge risk. This is actually I'll sync. So just for comparison, that's my level 1 flame tank, and I'm gonna throw some promotions on that thing. I don't want to sink too many of my supplies into it because anyway. So that's if you've seen my videos before, my tank destroyer's at level 4, my flame tank's at level 1. Let's promote it.
Fueled up and ready to go. Awaiting your orders, sir.
Ooh, do I really want to spend 4K? Ah, whatever.
Fueled up and ready to go.
So now it's alright, so it's at 956 health. Alright, so 143 damage per second. Let's compare it. Let's do a quick comparison. So that's interesting. It's going to have more. It says the same amount of health as a tank destroyer that's one level higher. Now look at the damage per second. 141. And this is 143. So you might be thinking, "Oh, look at that DPS. That's crazy." Except keep in mind it's not doing armor piercing damage. So it'll knock a base down in about it'll take about twice as long to knock a base down as a tank destroyer would. Obviously my idea here is to throw you know, the bazooka and the machine gun or some armor-piercing units in for support. It's nice to have a big. It's just nice. I only have one. I don't know, called big infantry group. You don't want to be your only way of dealing with infantry, so we'll throw the ranger in there, and the fighter. And because you've got to have a little bit of direct damage. So yes, this looks like we're going to actually risk taking this into ranked. I must have lost my mind. Oh, no, I take back, I did get my flame tank to rank 4. Okay, so it is the same amount of HP as my, it is the same amount of HP as the,
Listening in, sir.
whatchamacallit,
Target
as
acquired.
the tank destroyer. I apologize for the misdirection. It's the exact amount of same HP, but it just does a flame attack instead of an armor-piercing attack. And this is where it would be not it's a little tricky to get a good lineup, if that makes any sense. So this is where the flame tank's disappointing me a little bit. You see, it's not that big infantry group wiped it out pretty quickly, and that is where it's kind of disappointing. You know, you would expect. I feel like the flamethrower would deal with those units better. So again, there are some reasons why I consider. There seem to be mounting reasons why it's considered, you know, one of the weaker units. It has been in the game since launch. It wasn't added in later. It's just but it is just it kind of has a long-standing reputation as, you know, a bit of a weaker unit for a reason, you know, and it's the least unit. It's not the least used unit because it's, you know, because it was added so far later and just no one tried it out. It's been in East Asia since launch, so obviously it's gated availability from the whole East Asia thing, but you know. Alright, so let's try to flame tank here. Did a better job there just because I think the units were just lined up a bit better. And of course, so of course it's not going to be terribly effective against units that were placed behind like that.
Target acquired. 10-4. sir.
Now, I really need to get that top base dealt with. I'm kind of neglecting my actual opportunity to get something done here.
On our way.
All right, let's watch this flame tank against this big infantry unit. It dealt with them okay, but still, it's down almost a third health, and I feel like, I mean, I'm sure the tank destroyer would probably struggle with that as well.
Target acquired.
No, this is where things are getting tricky for me.
Heading out, sir.
Oh,
Target acquired.
that was a close one. Literally 1 HP. And, yeah, I don't feel like I will just be honest, I don't feel like the flame tank was a huge asset there. I mean, obviously, I think I've picked some decent units to pair it with, but, yeah, it's kind of got that reputation as a weak unit for a reason. So, you know, I would like to see it do better, but it just is what it is. And I mean, if you're gonna have a unit that pops and damages, and that's half the reason you field it, you know, better to go with the flamethrower, which is much more reasonably priced. I'm just stirring my noodles.
В моем обозрении.
Heading out, sir. Déploiement des défenses.
Alright, so this guy's got the,
Listening in, sir. Pour les France.
So this is gonna be an interesting matchup. He armor pierces, and I deal.
Allons-y.
Well, let's put. So
No problem.
really not.
Тихий и смертный.
I mean, he spent probably 7, and I took that out with
Allons-y.
what? With 8. Now I think about it, if I include the officer, so.
Pour les France.
Pardon me, I am fighting off a bit of a cold today. I'm sure you guys have heard it in my voice.
Guards tower under construction. On our way.
That got out a bit too late, and I have a feeling it's just
Heading out, sir.
he throws something in behind that flame tank. It's gonna be useless. It's not gonna be as useful, so because it'll have the ability to just kind of get see that the explosion damage is pretty much useless there. So it really does need to be used defensively to get any kind of use out of it.
Allons-y.
Let's go. En avant.
This is where
On the move.
it's a little hard to bait him, to just straight up bait him. Okay, this might be interesting because he is charging in with quite a bit of infantry. So let's see how that goes.
We're in flight, sir.
So flame tank took care of that group pretty.
Gain in position. Heftig Schwein Honda.
En avant.
We're in flight, sir. Go, go, go! The flames will burn. Guards tower under construction. Haben die Panzer im Visier. Wer kann nicht
В
verlieren?
моем обозрении.
I don't know how definitely, if you are going to even consider using it, definitely have some.
Allons dans les vents. Target acquired. Go, go, go! On our way. Gain in position. On the move. 10-4.
Тихий и смертный.
All right, let's see. Okay. So it is in most situations it is taking out
We're in flight, sir.
the infantry decently well.
All the force.
Kämpf dich, Schweinhunde!
It will be done.
Тихий и смертный.
We're in flight, sir. Target acquired.
So I'll do another quick look at the unit for anyone who's tuning in late. Again, here are the stats. I took you through the stats. The stats I took you through earlier were the level 1 stats, but here it is at rank 4. And the only reason I even have this many flame tanks is actually because they were the epic unit that I got in my Imperial crate videos maybe a couple weeks old. I can't remember exactly. And yeah, I think I'll take it into ranked maybe one more time. Um, I think it kind of like we've seen it kind of work, kind of, but is it worth? You know, it can do a thing. It can take out some infantry, but is it an efficient unit? You know, are 6 points worth spending on this thing that you know doesn't really feel a lot stronger than a flamethrower unit. It really doesn't feel much stronger than a flamethrower unit, and it costs twice as much. That's you know, and I mean even the flamethrower units are stop being popular at the higher levels, and a lot of like the higher ranks and people who are higher more leveled up, and a lot of the reason for that has to do with the fact that the explosion death damage doesn't level up when you level up your characters. Now the flame tank does do double the explosion damage, so if it explodes, it will do twice as much damage as the
MG nest deployed.
you know as the flamethrower. That's definitely noteworthy, but just the same, it just doesn't feel like a cost-effective unit.
All the force. It will be done. Any tank going in.
Okay, see, and here's the big problem. Is, when you go, yeah. And the flamethrower is going to move faster, and it's going to be a lot more likely to deliver that payload to, like, an enemy base or something. So, you know.
Target acquired.
I don't normally like tossing away my, direct damage that way.
Allons-y!
Let's go. Gain in position. Naval strike inbound.
That was a bit of a waste.
We're in flight, sir. En avant. Anti-infantry, setting up.
Allons-y!
We're in flight, sir.
Déploiement des fortifications.
Now, if I hold back, he's going to probably just keep throwing direct damage at me. So I am kind of on the clock here a bit in terms of being able to actually win this game.
Heading out, sir. MG search for targets. Heading out, sir.
So that makes it a lot more difficult to use a unit like the flame tank, because you know I have to hold it. It's a countering unit, you know. It's not the kind of thing you see. I sent it off there, and it's just kind of wasted. And I don't.
Death from above. MG searching for targets. Take 'em out.
So as you can see, it is causing me a struggle now against these last couple guys. Now see that, well, this guy, I mean, he was probably built in a way that would have been difficult anyway. But we'll just keep going with it. Actually, here, I'm gonna crack open these crates and don't want to get paired against that guy again. Even though, and I mean, I'm trying to think how that game would have played out with the tank destroyer. Might have been pretty similar, just because he doesn't, you know, just from the way I was playing. But and what was fielded and everything. But you know, your the another unit I have to compare it to is the Minesweeper, because the Minesweeper is very popular. You know, all their and is a very popular infantry counter. You know, it costs 1 unit less than the flame tank. Um, it has no risk of being taken out by AT tank mines. Uh,
Anyone for a Barbie?
what else is what else does the Minesweeper have going through it? So yeah, it clears infantry. It only clears them in a line, but it does clear infantry. And
We're in flight, sir. Ten four. Wir sind auf dem Weg.
Allons-y. Let's go. Let's roast them.
I am definitely it's not a good matchup when you're matching up the flame tank against a tank destroyer. So again, yet another build that I'm gonna struggle with just because this guy happens to have a you know, one good way to deal with tanks.
Gain in position.
So again, and this is not another example of not a great matchup. Well, this is interesting. Okay, so that was a pretty good. That was probably what you just saw there. Probably was one of like the maximum effective, you know, whatever. The maximum effectiveness of the flame tank was probably just displayed to you. And that was something I wanted to get across in a video, just so you're not always seeing it super weak, super weak, super weak. I wanted to get across, you know, show you it at its best and worst, if that makes any sense. So I think I can kind of close off the video with a pretty good, you know, with having most of the people who've seen this should have a pretty good sense of what this thing's capable of. Again, that wasn't too bad, but take note, it didn't quite wipe out those rank 10 those rank 10 machine gunners. You know, and again, like I said, those explosion effects don't get more powerful as you level up the unit. Which is why the mortars, I mean, the mortars aren't super popular either, but their explosion, obviously their damage does. Alright. Oh. As you can see, so it's not, explosion damage is not enough to take out a machine gunner. This is like a noteworthy drawback. I don't really know what else to call it.
Party time.
Wezen tot de weg.
Um,
Do this.
and I mean, I'm sure you guys can see me struggling here. It's definitely not all because I'm using a flame tank, but it's not helping. It's not being. And I mean, again, weigh it against the Minesweeper. Minesweeper weighs one less. It clears infantry very effectively, including a lot of stronger units. There's not a lot of good. I don't have a lot of good reasons to take this over Minesweeper, even though the Minesweeper obviously, it's a mindless unit. It proceeds whatever, but it's just so much more efficient and closes off some of the vulnerabilities. So there it is. That's the flame tank. The least unit. It's one of the least used units in the game for a reason. It's it's just not. Just doesn't quite give you enough for the points you spend on it. It's not useless, but then no unit is. It's just it's not doing the job. It's in terms of finding ways to clear infantry and presenting threats to the enemy base. It just isn't. It just isn't worth those 6 points. The Minesweeper and the mortar and a ton of other stuff that clears out infantry and then presents, and then can go on to present a threat. It just works a lot better than this flame tank. So, sorry, it's an unpopular unit for a reason. But I mean, if I'm wrong, if you guys have had great experience with the flame tank and you've been able to make it work, feel free to give me your feedback. I welcome all of it. And I hope that was informative of you guys. This was a response to a user request, so I hope this person's pleased. And that's the whole video. You now know why you probably shouldn't bother with the flame tank. But if you wanted a little preview before you tried it out for yourself, there you go. That is everything. I'm hoping to get another video out more later today. Who knows? But that's everything. So thank you so much. See you, Starside.